Hey, what's up everyone? In a recent video, I highlighted this, my copy of Dig magazine. One of my absolute grails for years. It was something that I thought I was just gonna have to come to terms with, the fact that I'd have this basically complete EU collection except for this magazine. Years ago, finally tracked one down. Couldn't believe it. I think up to that point, there'd maybe only been 4 I'd ever seen that were available. Realized after all these years, I'd never actually made a video about it. I'd made a scan available for the story at StarWarsTimeline.net, but again, was super excited to share it. It's just one of the most special items in my collection, both because of its, sort of hard to find status, and also because of the years of the hunt, right? That was half the fun. Well, interestingly, recently I went looking for more Dig magazines, and it's partially an eccentricity of my collection. When there are Star Wars things that are inside non-Star Wars magazines like this, I sometimes like to get the full run of the magazine. Don't ask me why. It's probably just because, probably even more so than being a Star Wars collector, I'm just a collector in general, right? But there are reasons occasionally to get the full run. In this case, I'll show you a cool little promo in a future issue that highlights this as a back issue collector's item, which I think is really cool, which for me sort of hits a couple of boxes. It's not only about this sort of unique grail, but it's also sort of a promo item that's very self-aware about its unique contribution to Star Wars EU lore, right? So that's really cool. But what was even cooler is that in picking up a run of about the first 6 or so magazines, this is the premiere issue here, this Dig issue was always number 2, I actually ended up getting not only that cool little promo thing I talked about, but also, unbelievably, a second issue of Dig. Guys, I can't even tell you how just incredibly just crazy I feel about this happening. It's just unbelievable. I can't express how important it was for me to eventually find this years ago. I never thought I would get 1, let alone a chance at 2. So I don't even know what to do yet. I don't even know how to process this. This issue here, a part of this run, is an upgrade. I mean, this is a nicer edition objectively, even though this one holds sort of a special place in my heart. So we'll sort of see. I mean, I believe in collector's karma. The only thing I ever really sort of double up on are posters and promos that are double-sided, right? So that if I ever want to frame them or protect them in something that has like a backing board and want to see the other side, it will sometimes, if cost-effective, get a second copy. Something like this, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do with yet, but I believe in collector's karma. I think I will try to find a better home for this. I only need 1 copy, okay? I recognize that, but for the time being, it is so cool and so exciting to see too here. I just simply cannot believe it. But believe it or not, that's not the main issue. That's not the main point of this video. One thing I wanted to talk about too was, and I'm just sort of giving you a glance at sort of the first, again, half dozen or so issues in publication order here, but it's this parent's guide. So this magazine put out a parent's guide supplement, and it's neat. I mean, even though this information is over 20 years old, a lot of this archaeological insight is still relatively up to date, so there's some cool features in here, books and resources, as well as sort of guides to where to take your kids on their own little archaeological hunt. But the thing that I wanted to particularly highlight about this magazine is this. How cool is this? Dig back issues are now collector's items. The understatement of a lifetime, right? It's so cool that they became so self-aware of not just how some of the earlier issues, like the premiere issue here, which you saw earlier as, sort of a rare issue, and here you go, if you want to get caught up, there it is. But this one in particular, right, the Star Wars Special Lost City of Tatooine, the July 1999 issue. Now, it's so cool because, again, it's neat that they're self-aware about how important this magazine is to sort of, obscure EU collectors, right? But it's also this image. I mean, having spent all those years trying to hunt down that first issue, that cover image is just seared into my brain in a way that, like, every time I see it, it still sends a little sort of dopamine rush through my brain, right? And it's just so neat to see this here. So I guess in some ways, this whole adventure validates that eccentricity of my collection, which is about sort of trying to track down sort of a fuller run of things that maybe don't necessarily contain Star Wars EU things, but were published around the time. Again, I know it seems like a crazy thing, but every once in a while it pays off with something like this. Not only do you get that second copy of where is it here? It's of, Lost City of Tatooine, right? Number 1 and number 2, but again, you get cool promo things like this. Totally self-aware, totally in on the fun, right? Collector's items, get them. And imagine at the time seeing this and being able to pick up these however many issues they had available for only $5 a piece. Pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, Dig Magazine. It just goes to show that sometimes these grails are worth the hunt, because you can find them, right? You can find even multiple copies. But again, I hope you believe in collector's karma too. And if you ever find cool deals like that, please pass them along. Anyway, see you next time.